Welcome to the Canadiens Coronary, our first Canadiens Coronary of 2011. I'm Nick Murdocco, that's Gary Whitaker. We're going to start off today getting your blood boiling with three major topics. We're talking Jacques Martin, Andre Kostitsyn, and Lars Eller. Stick around. We are here at O'Hara's Pub, 1197 University, corner of René Lévesque. We want to thank Stuart Ashton for giving us the time and space to take care of our business here on the Canadiens Coronary. Whitaker, without further ado, let's start it off right now with Andre Kostitsyn. As we speak now, 1 goal in 19 games. He's got almost 0 points in the last 8 or 9 games. I mean, he was my breakout player of the year. I had picked him to go huge places for the Montreal Canadiens this season, and it looks like the only place he's going is down or out of Montreal. What can be done, or what is there to do with Andre Kostitsyn? Is he following the route of the Belarusian ploy, which is, you know what, play as disinterested as you can.
Belarusian ploy.
You know my take on the Belarusians and stuff like that. Yeah. But is he taking the route of Mikhail Grabovski, who basically played disinterested and got traded off? Yeah. Sergei Kostitsyn played disinterested, got traded off. Is Andre Kostitsyn looking to get traded off? And who in their right mind wants him at this point?
Right, because he's doing it on purpose, right, to play like crap. No, I think, well, listen, I think at the end of the day, he's trying to do what he can to fit into a system that just doesn't play to what his strengths are. And what his strengths are, I mean, he needs to be able to hold the puck. He needs to be able to create some things offensively, and he needs people to support him in that way in the offensive zone. And to maybe pick up a defensive assignment or two in the defensive zone. He's not someone that's going to use the body too much. I mean, when he does try to play, aggressively against the boards in the offensive zone, he usually ends up losing those battles. So he's a guy that can get to the boards, but he needs someone to come in, pinch in, help out. So at the end of the day right now, I think when it comes to Andre Kostitsyn, this is not the place or the coach for him. He doesn't look like he's going to break out of this slump. But then again, Nick, what made him be so well and work so well in the beginning of the season versus now? Like, what's stopping him? It's the same team. It's the same.
Yeah, but that's my question, because at the beginning he was with Thomas Plekanec as well as Michael Camilleri, and for a while there was some good success there. Martin decided to change that around, but he has put them back in the past to no avail, and he has placed Andre Kostitsyn in positions to lead the team, and he hasn't. Not only is he not showing on the scoreboard, but you're seeing him play disinterested.
Or lead the team on the fourth line and not give him any power play opportunities. I mean, that's the problem. I don't think he's putting him in any position right now to lead the team or break out of the slump. I mean, this is a guy that needs to have and be given some power play opportunities. He's got a shot. He's got the ability to create some space, create some openings. He needs to be given that. And playing third and fourth line assignments is not the area where it's gonna happen for this guy.
Okay, so this is not Andre Kostitsyn's fault. It's all a figment of everyone's imagination. It's all on Jacques Martin, and Andre Kostitsyn is a victim of circumstances. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that
he has no idea what he's saying.
No, but I think the problem is that I believe that he is a player that could have had a breakout season. I don't understand really what happened to him. It's got to be some kind of mental issue that Jacques Martin is just not able to reach him at this point. And obviously, he's trying to do things as a coach that isn't responding well to not just Andre, but I mean, look at Sergei and look at so many other players that for some reason there's a certain type of player that doesn't fit well under Jacques Martin, and that means doesn't fit well under this edition
NHL players.
And that turn out to be, unfortunately, NHL caliber players that go off to other teams and have stunning success. Sergei, Ryan O'Byrne. I mean, the list is going to get and soon. I mean, listen, to me, time is only ticking on Maxime Lapierre.
Your breakout player, Maxime Lapierre, does not count if he's on another team.
No, but my point is that how is it that these players could be NHL caliber players on the next teams that they get traded to, but they can't make it on with Jacques Martin or the Montreal Canadiens, a team that's a team that is begging for success. Obviously, there's something that doesn't really match really well, and Jacques Martin needs a certain type of player doesn't look like
Okay.
Andre Kostitsyn is that guy.
So let's cut this quick to the chase right now. What does one do with Andre Kostitsyn? Do the Canadiens look for a trade, or do they try to break him out of whatever funk he's going through, since this is his last season before he is UFA?
If you trade him, you're not going to get the kind of value that I think you should get from him.
As have been for the last 4 trades the Montreal Canadiens have made.
Well, and that's the problem. So, in my opinion, I say that you still
lose him for nothing.
You try to work with him to the best of your ability, and you try. To me, this is the pivotal player that if Jacques Martin is going to excel as a coach and maybe turn things around as a coach, and even take that next step as a coach. And I don't care about his time in Ottawa. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think Jacques Martin's regressed. If he's trying to make it back into the NHL and prove that he's not a dinosaur of a coach that needs to have that red line in place, Kostitsyn is, to me, is the watermark. That's the measure as to whether or not he can turn around and actually, be the future of this Montreal Canadiens franchise. Otherwise,
if Andre Kostitsyn is
bye to either Kostitsyn or Martin.
If Andre Kostitsyn is the watermark, Martin will not be drowning because he will not reach that water level. Speaking of bye-bye Kostitsyn or bye-bye Martin, Montreal Canadiens made, I guess, a move to side with one or the other. We all know Maxime Lapierre asked to get traded, got traded, which proved, at least for the short term, the Montreal Canadiens are sticking by their coach, Jacques Martin. Towards the halfway part of the season, a little bit more than halfway part of the season, Canadiens are above 500, about 4 to 6 points better than they were this time last year.
Nice.
So the question is Jacques Martin to be applauded or criticized for where the Montreal Canadiens are at this point? Now, let's bear in mind, no Andrei Markov, which I believe the team has basically come to terms with right now.
Yeah.
But who would have thought that the Canadiens would be where they are right now without Josh Georges, with Camilleri being sick a couple of games, with different things going on, distractions a la PK Subban. Whether you like it or not, PK Subban was a distraction outside the rink and inside the rink, and you're hearing little murmurs that maybe he's not everybody's favorite kid brother in the room. And, the list goes on and on with distraction. Maxime Lapierre asking to be traded. You've got to know that before that came out, stuff was murmuring in the room as well. So all of this happening right now, the Montreal Canadiens are where they are because of Jacques Martin or despite him?
I'm going to say despite him. And the fact of the matter is that I think anybody could have been coach of this Montreal Canadiens team and would have been able to lead this team to the record that he has, that they've had. I don't think any players you can point to that has developed because specifically of Jacques Martin. The one thing that you can maybe at best point to a positive thing that was done by Jacques Martin is that he actually allowed Carey Price to have as many starts in nets as he did. But even then, what are you supposed to do? When Carey Price has the start to the season that he did in October, were you or any other coach going to bench him? No.
Well, no. Last year when you did that and he was on fire for the first 2 games, you sat him the next 2, and then all hell broke loose.
So, what do you point as a positive thing for Jacques Martin? Did he develop Lars Eller into a NHL player?
That's
no.
The next topic.
Yes. No, he's not. Did he develop Did he keep Andre Kostitsyn in a pace, or was he doing what he's got to do to bring Andre Kostitsyn back? No. Mike Camilleri, he's got a sniper in Mike Camilleri that all of a sudden, prior to taking himself out because of what ended up being strep throat, was on a downslide. I mean, you can't point to any player, as far as I'm concerned, that you can look at and you say, this guy developed because of what Jacques Martin has done.
Okay, but the bottom line is Jacques Martin, it's common knowledge, Jacques Martin is not a rookie coach. We've seen that before. The leash is very short on any rookie who makes a mistake. The thing is Jacques Martin has been and always will be a system coach. And you ask him any question about individual play or offensive output or whatever, Jacques Martin will always go back to, well, I think if we play in a system, good things will happen if everyone's in the right position. Well, you know what? That's exactly what it is. And Jacques Martin, what he never had in Ottawa, he has in Montreal, which is a goaltender, a goaltender-centric team, which is right now the Montreal Canadiens, whether you like it or not. And now more than ever, a Jacques Martin-type system is what this team needs, because for all the points that you've made, for all the lack of scoring, Canadiens at this point are probably 25th in goals for in the NHL. You need more than ever to concentrate on being in that system. And maybe Jacques Martin, to what Gary's saying, is not anybody can coach this team. Maybe Jacques Martin may be the only one to coach this team, whether you like it or not.
No, I completely disagree with you. I mean, I think it's bogus. There's all this crap about him in Ottawa, and he never had a goaltender. You know, Montreal today doesn't have the same type of talent offensively that the Ottawa Senators had. So you trade one for another. You trade the type of offensive firepower that the Senators had for the goaltending that the Canadiens do have. I don't think it's like, okay, well, now he's got a goaltender, and he's no, screw that, man. The bottom line is that Jacques Martin has a certain style that, yes, he fits for the veterans. Yes, it has allowed them to win. But is this team as good as it can be, specifically and directly because of the influence that he's done on players, be it veterans or rookies? No, I think when it comes from veterans, the veterans that said, I need consistency, I need to be able to work with the same people more often. Jacques Martin changes lines ridiculously. He goes, I don't care about the coaches changing lines. I actually was an advocate when Guy Carbonneau was doing it, but even Guy Carbonneau didn't go to the same extent as Jacques Martin. It's ridiculous. So to me, he's a so-called veterans coach, but he's not making his veteran players happy. That he gave P.K. Subban a leash? Of course, everyone was supposed to give P.K. Subban a leash. The problem is he hasn't managed them well since. To me, the list goes down. If he touches a player for too long, bad things happen. And I think that is maybe the one thing you could say to me. Same thing with Kostitsyn. Maybe he allowed Kostitsyn to do what he had to do, and then, you know what, he got involved a little bit more than he should have, and now you see the fruits of that. Jacques Martin got to go. And anybody that supports Jacques Martin and the Montreal Canadiens organization got to go too.
Well, I don't know how many people are on that bandwagon, but just like you mentioned, maybe they want Jacques Martin to touch them a little bit, but not too much. It's like once he gets your claws in them, bad things happen. I don't know. I want to talk about someone who right now maybe is reaping the effects of the Jacques Martin system, and that is Lars Eller. Now, it can be argued that Lars Eller, who was traded for Yaroslav Halak, has maybe hung around in the NHL and with the Montreal Canadiens longer than the average person would have lasted had he not been traded for that big deal that sent the playoffs hero of last season and perhaps the anointed number one goaltender away. But bottom line is Halak is in St. Louis and Lars Eller for now is in Montreal. Not getting the scoring that we would have liked from him could be a victim of the Jacques Martin system. Like you said, maybe
Absolutely.
he needs more time on the top six. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. So my question to you, my fine friend, is should Lars Eller, for the sake of the Canadiens and for Lars Eller, maybe do a stint in the AHL where he will flourish, if anything?
Well, like our friend Will, the contributor to the www.thefranchise.ca, Will Martinez, I think, had an excellent article. You just check him out. He has his own blog. Hey, my name is will.blogspot.com. But his article about Lars Eller should be sent down to Hamilton is on our website as well. Check it out. I mean, I share the same point of view. In a nutshell, Nick, this is not a slight on him and Lars Eller not being NHL ready. The fact of the matter is, and we talked about it as nauseum, he doesn't fit right now into Jacques Martin's system. Jacques Martin will not cater to him or to his development as a young player. So in order for him to get the playing time that he needs, which is crucial for a young player, in my opinion, he needs to go down to Hamilton to get put into all those situations that the Canadiens want to see him develop in as an NHL player. He needs to see that time right now in the AHL.
Okay, you're not going to get much of an argument from me. We don't know, what the folks out there are thinking, but bottom line is it's all about confidence, and right now he is not getting it in Montreal. He's not getting major minutes. He's not playing always on the top six line, and in the third or fourth line, you're not necessarily getting the opportunities, especially with the players that he is playing with, and no offense to them as well, but it's just not clicking, and Lars Eller is supposed to be an offensive force for the Montreal Canadiens to come. Going down to the AHL will give him the confidence. More importantly, will give him the playing time. It's worked wonders for David Desharnais, who found himself a spot in the top six every once in a while and starting to score some goals. Scored one just recently. It did wonders for Max Pacioretty after a full season in the AHL. Look at Dustin Boyd, who got relinquished, if you want, to the Hamilton Bulldogs and is up to 11 goals, which he would have never gotten in Montreal. So, I mean, if Lars Eller goes down there, the worst case scenario that it could do for Lars Eller and the Canadiens is increase his trade value, because right now, what are you going to get for Lars Eller, or what are you going to do for Lars Eller going down to the AHL and dominating? should maybe be the best thing for him.
You can't even get a Halak jersey for him at this point.
We hope you've enjoyed this version of Canadiens Coronary. I'm Nick Murdocco.
Gary Whittaker.
And we are here at O'Hara's Pub, 1197 University, corner of René Lévesque. We thank Stuart Ashton for giving us the time and space to do what we do. We want to leave you with this one question. It's a poll question. Carey Price has been selected by the NHL as Montreal's representative to the NHL All-Star Game. We want your opinion on that. Knowing the history with Carey Price and the NHL All-Star Games, what do you think? Answer down there.
The question and the options will be there and available at
www.thefranchise.ca.
Check it out. It's decent.
We're out.